Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have my friend Alex S here with his deck, his favorite deck to be exact, called the Weather Painters. Typically he plays a plethora of different decks at the shop, but I've been seeing him on this recently and it's been doing well. Alex, you got anything to say before we start his profile?
This deck is, that's it. It's still missing stuff. It feels unfinished, and everything else in your deck that is like doing stuff for you just feels like floodgate interactions, and people don't tend to like that. So if you want people to like you, you probably shouldn't play this deck.
Okay. I'm ready to learn a little bit about it, so go ahead and start with the profile, brother.
Alright. So, the best monster in the deck is Weather Painter Snow. When this is normal summoned, it just places any weather canvas, so any of the continuous spells or traps face up in your spell and trap zone. It does place them, so it gets around stuff like anti-spell fragrance. Basically, this just gets you anything you need out of the deck right away. It's super clean.
Okay, a little starter, for sure.
This is Thunder. He's like a kind of like pseudo starter, but he's like really good in the grind game, because what this guy does is he sends any continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard as a cost to just place any weather canvas from your deck face up your spell and trap zone, just like Snow. So while he's like strictly worse because he has to send one to do it, he does turn off your floodgates that may hinder your ability to play. So like skill drain, anti-spell, even though you can theoretically always play under those, sometimes you don't want to. Like sometimes you want to go for access code, and you need to get rid of it. So he's pretty good. Then this guy is probably the second most important one now. You used to just play two of him, but this is Cloud. His ability is whenever a weather card goes to the graveyard, he places two weather canvases from your graveyard back onto the spell and trap zone. And that's really good because of the field spell now, letting you just break link mechanics entirely. Yeah, they just absolutely busted card. We'll get to that in a minute. But also, if you get like Twin Twistered, like last locals, Despia Dude, Twin Twister both my canvases because he wanted to turn off my engine, and I had Cloud, and Cloud just put him like right back.
For sure.
Anyways, I play 3 Nib and also 3 Ash. Probably should be Solemn Strike and Solemn Judgment now I think about it, because Ash was really bad every single time I resolved it. I kept drawing it in multiples, which is really bad. Nibiru I put in here because I was like, okay, if I have to go second, it does something. And then also, there's an interaction with these guys that works. It's very reminiscent of Ritual Beasts, where they dodge outside of like these board wiping effects, so that it's just completely one-sided. But I never resolved this at all ever, so probably should just be Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. Now to think about it, just for better going first. Get this out of the way.
Yeah, look at this amazing map, by the way. Man, Alex, can you tell us a little bit about this map?
Yeah, so this is just custom made, as far as I know. Only one in the world. Shop owner tried to buy it off me like 3 times.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Will never happen.
It's beautiful.
New card. 3 this. The weather forecast. I know this in English, so you can actually read it this time.
There we go.
This card is batshit insane broken. I don't know what prompted them to make this. I know in the Create a Card contest, this was up there. You know, you could vote for it with Inzectors and stuff, and Inzectors won. They got their custom card, and this is probably the card they were going to give us if we voted for it. But it's ironic because this didn't win, and this ended up being way better of a card than the Inzectors ever got.
Yeah, no one's playing that deck, yeah, for sure.
The problem with this deck was always that to summon its boss monster, the Weather Painter Rainbow, it was just way too hard because it's a Link 3 that needs 3 Weather Painter monsters. You don't have any swarming capabilities. You're playing a slower control-based deck. You can't just like shit out monsters to make in a Rainbow. This thing says, when you activate it, place any weather canvas face up from your deck. So it would just Snow on activation, right? Additionally, it gives you an extra normal summon of a Weather Painter every turn. So you just have, 2 monsters that you're getting for free. And it lets you use your weather canvases in your spell and trap zone as link fodder. And that combos with Cloud, right? Because when you use the spell and traps as link fodder, Cloud will see them going to the graveyard and he'll just put them back, so you don't lose them. That's why he's so good now. You have to play 3, and that's why he's like $9.
For sure, the market man.
This is the weather painters like Snow and Thunder do specify in your spell and trap zone, so you can't place this face up. right? It kind of sucks, but you can search it with the snowy canvas interaction. Secondly, free snowy canvas. This card's really good. The way the canvases all work is they give an effect to the weather painter in its column and its adjacent columns. They don't actually have their own effect that they activate themselves. They just give an effect to the monster in their column and adjacent columns. And what Snowy Canvas does is it gives all of your weather painters the ability to banish themselves as a cost to search for any weather card, right? But you can only, after it resolves, you can't add cards from your deck to your hand the rest of the turn except for by drawing them. So you can only resolve it once, but what's cool about that is since it's technically not once per turn, if you have 3 weather painters here, right, and your board's about to get blown up, let's say they Regeki you, you can like chain all 3 of them using this effect. They'll all dodge the Regeki, and only the last one will search. But since the weather painters all have the effects that if they're banished to activate a weather effect and they come back during the next standby phase, they're all just wind up rabbit.
Interesting. Okay. Good way to put it.
It helps you dodge imperm on like snow. Like if you activate it, normal summon snow, and they try to imperm it, you can just dodge it. So you get the set, you get the place, and you get the search. 3 prosperity because you really need it because this deck gets really inconsistent over like a long tournament. You're gonna like variance, just see awful hands, and it helps you see things that you might need.
Most definitely.
1 rainy canvas. This gives all your weather painters that in the column and its adjacent columns the ability to banish themselves and bounce a spell and trap your opponent controls to the hand. Not once per turn at all, so basically just 3 times per turn, bounce, spell and trap. You gotta play it for the rainbow combo because it's the only one that you can place face up, you know, other than Snowy Canvas. And we don't play Lapis, because Lapis is bad. 1 Terraforming, a Search, Weather Forecast, and Mystic Mind. Because you can, since all your guys vanish for cost, right, and come back in the next standby phase, you can always control how many monsters you have on your side of the field. So you can just basically play chicken with your opponent until you like see cards to finish out the game, and then you just, on their end phase, search the weather forecast, turn off your own thing, and then make access code or whatever, kill them.
Okay.
For traps, you play triple torrential because you can proc it on by yourself. You can dodge it all day. It's not once per turn. It's really impactful. There are 2 ABC players at this locals. Like as soon as I started playing this, right? And now it's just like, wow, this card just feels trash. But it shouldn't be if you're playing against Despia. It's really good. Speaking against playing against Despia, anti-spell fragrance. It's crazy. Because you're not activating spells half the time. You're just placing them face up from your deck. Right?
Yeah.
In that same vein, skill drain, they banish themselves as cost, so they don't get negated by skill drain. It's just the effects, like the effect on cloud, the effect on snow, and the effect on thunder that all do their own things, like place face up, place back from grave, and send from field as a cost, all get turned off. But if you have this and thunder, I've done this multiple times where I've used Thunder's effect to send this as a cost, and then it doesn't get negated because this is gone, right? And then you just get to place your Snowy Canvas face up or whatever, and then you just win.
Makes sense.
You just get to turn off your own skill drain whenever you want to, or just play under it. It doesn't matter. 2 Rainbow Canvas and 2 Thunder Canvas. So this should probably be at 1. But it's like my favorite card in the deck, even though it's like kind of bad. What this one does is it gives all of your weather painters, you know, column, adjacent column, same shtick, the ability to banish themselves, do special summon any other weather painter from the deck. It's really good because it basically just lets you get another name in rotation, or move it to whatever column you need for the specific effect that you want. It helps you load up your banish, so on the next turn you get a bigger tempo push with more bodies hitting the board. You have to play 2 because if one gets banished, or if you don't have access to Cloud and you really need this and you need to get it back or whatever, you're just out of luck. And this card comes in clutch a lot. It also helps you trigger your own tribute, your own torrential, or like put up bodies after the torrential. Like you could use this, summon one from your deck, chain torrential, you know, on resolution, and then you can just dodge it again. It also, it just lets you summon from deck.
The card, for sure.
This card is really clean in my opinion, just because what this does is it gives your weather painters the ability to, during damage calculation, to start a damage calc, right? When this battles an opponent's monster, it doesn't have to attack it. It can be when it's being attacked or when it's attacking. You can banish your weather painter to just bounce their monster to the hand. It doesn't target, right? So they summon Dragoon, you just go, you know, damage step, you know, get out. I mostly just play 2 of this just because it's nice to like send it off of the weather forecast to make your link. But honestly, it probably should just be 1.
Yeah.
Extra deck doesn't really matter. You're just playing prosperity targets.
Yeah, for sure.
But what does matter is just these guys. So 3 rainbow and 3 moonbow, and then the 1 axis code. You should also probably go ahead and play Apollosa because you can make it in corner cases. And Charmers. You can play all the Charmers if you want. I just couldn't find the other ones, and all this is just from my Tri-Brigade extra deck I just stuck in here.
Yeah.
It's just like guaranteed prosperity banishes.
Makes sense.
Because it doesn't matter, really. You could optimize if you want, but this is like the best like, monster I've ever read in my life, right? So basically what this guy does is every single weather painter it points to gains the effect to banish itself to be an Omni Negate, right? So basically turn 1 you can set this up with 2 Omni Negates under it, and it itself, when it is link summoned, it's Solemn Warning by attributing itself. And that's really good.
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't think I've ever made the board with like 2 or 3 under it and lost. They usually just scoop to me. There's no point because I've got my engine online. I can dodge all removal. I get to have follow-up for the next turn. Floodgates even, perhaps. Just super good. You didn't used to be able to go into this, but now because of the weather forecast you can. This is the new link, Moonbow. It's just her in a black dress, you know, goth bitches, right? When this is link summoned, you can special summon one of your banished the weather monsters. And that's really good because it just gives you another body to go straight into Axis Code or Apollosa or whatever. I've killed people with this multiple times just going into the Axis Code play. But it also has 2 other effects. The other effect is that it gives every single weather painter under its arrow the ability to banish themselves, to banish 1 monster opponent controls until the next standby phase, right? So it's kind of like a pseudo DPE removal 3 times per turn kind of deal. And when this is destroyed, it just floats in the rainbow. So you can, and it doesn't matter how it's destroyed. So you can torrential yourself, and then trigger it, and then float into this, and that's super good. The Charmers don't really need explaining. You have access to like every attribute, so you can just make them Steel Baron. That was the idea behind this, and then this is just because I could find it. And the art's pretty cool.
Because of the theme, I understand.
You know how it is. Axis Code kills people and also makes people mad at you. This whole deck makes people mad at you.
Most definitely.
Floodgates, Omni Negates, dodging every removal ever, bouncing in the battle phase, main deck Anti-Spell, main deck Skill Drain, main deck Mystic Mind.
I see it. That's perfect, dude.
So, before I go, just to like showcase, just so people know, because as far as I know, how this deck works is just not really well known, so I'm just going to show like optimally. If you have these 3 cards in your hand, this can also be Thunder or Snowy Canvas. You could have Terraforming. If you have like a combination of those cards, you basically make the same board, but the idea is, right, so you activate this first, and what this does is this helps you play around Imperm, Veiler, all the things that you really care about. So you put the Snowy Canvas up, and that lets you just dodge shit while getting your pluses. So you normal summon this, use the effect, you get to place a guy face up. I usually place this just to get it in rotation early, right? And then you get to use this effect to banish itself, and you get to search for any weather card because of this.
Okay.
So if you opened another canvas, you would search this guy. since you open this guy, you just kind of search for the rainy canvas. That's what I was talking about. You have to play it because it's the only one you can activate face up right now, since you can only control one of each. So we're gonna activate this. We use our additional normal summon here, so normal summon this, and then we just get to break link mechanics and link off with our spells and traps, right? Make the fucking rainbow right here in the EMZ, and then the effect of this guy's gonna trigger, and you basically just get these two back right here. And then during your opponent's standby phase, this comes back, and you've got 2 Omnis, a Solemn, Search, Dodge. Like if they want to like hit one of these with something, I don't know, you can banish it, summon another one from your deck, etc. etc. It's really good. I need to show you my side deck. Just remembered, but
for sure, you don't have to go over every piece of the side deck, but something that you think other weather painter players would want to have in their side.
Yeah, your side deck is.
I know our locals is crazy.
Making up for stuff. 2 mine for going second, just so you can have 3 in the main deck. Aurora is the weather painter that you should probably not play, but it's cool because it makes it so they can't target or destroy your back row. Also, if you manage to normal summon, it just puts a canvas from anywhere, and it's like 2200 attack, which is pretty good. Mandatory extra back row removal. We got the Dark Rulers because I fear God.
Who's Dark Rulers mainly for?
If you have to go second, and you know they're going to make like a bunch of negates, then you kind of have to side this in, because otherwise you're just going to lose.
Makes sense.
Especially against Sword Soul, because they have access to Vashuda, which will just bounce your fucking skill drain anyways.
Yeah, mess your day up.
D-Barrier, insane card this format.
Most definitely.
And then D-Shifter. I want to play this in the main, but I can't, because it turns off Cloud, and Cloud is just really good now. Hey, did we hit 20 minutes yet?
No, we're at 17.
Damn, how am I going to beat Kron now?
Man, who knows? But look, man, today I appreciate you showcasing the Weather Painter's deck. It seems like a deck I really haven't seen anyone else really play with or have any success with, but at our locals at least, you're doing well with it, Alex, and I appreciate you coming to the channel. Any last thoughts since you've went over the profile?
Yeah, I like this deck a lot, and I'm going to play Flender next week.
Okay, simple as that. Well, guys, we're out of here. I appreciate you again, Alex. Take care, guys.